Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Turtle, this is Outlier Fantasy, and this is part 2 of the best values in each round of your fantasy football drafts. Now, if you haven't seen the first part of the video, I will put it somewhere up here. Make sure you watch the early round values that are the best values. And in this video, we'll be going over rounds 7 through 12 of the best fantasy football values in each round. Roll the intro. Kicking off in round 7, the best value to be had here in round 7 is the running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Najee Harris. Being that Jaylen Warren is likely to miss week 1 and it's probably going to take him a couple weeks to get acclimated and get maybe his full workload volume back, Najee Harris finds himself with a boost in the beginning weeks of the season, let alone the fact that he is a good running back to draft at this point in the draft regardless. Keep in mind, because of a disappointing 2023 season for Najee Harris, which really wasn't that disappointing, it was just fell a little short of your ADP expectations in 2023, this is now the cheapest you're going to get Najee Harris since he's entered the NFL. He was a highly regarded prospect when he first came into the league. So why would we treat him like he's just some other guy going in round 7? That's not the case at all. We know he's not a fast running back, so if you want to tell me that he looks slow or looks sluggish, I don't really need to hear that because it's not very relevant. It hasn't stopped him from being a productive fantasy running back in years prior. Now in an Arthur Smith style of offense where he will receive high volume, we know he has a nose for an end zone, as last season in 2023, his 8 total touchdowns was the lowest of his career. He had double-digit touchdowns in each of the first 2 seasons prior to that. So if we know he's going to wind up with better than 8 touchdowns and could possibly hit double-digit touchdowns in an offense that wants to run the ball a lot, this could be a diamond in the rough for you in fantasy. And that's why Najee Harris is a value here in round 7. In round 8, the best values to be had here are, if you're looking for a quarterback, you could absolutely go with a Joe Burrow or even a Kyler Murray if they're still available in your leagues. But for the running back position that I think is the most valuable, here we have options like DeAndre Swift and Raheem who could wind up being fantasy relevant this year yet again. I personally would prioritize grabbing a Raheem over a DeAndre Swift at this point in your draft, but either one of these could be a significant value given the other options that are available at running back and wide receiver. In round 9, this is another round that could be intriguing if you want to draft a quarterback, and I'm totally fine with that. Being that we've hit wide receivers so many times already in this draft, in theory, of course, if you took all of the picks that I said, you're going to need a running back. So here we go back to the running back well, and Brian Robinson in round 9 is the best value at running back that you can grab, or players overall at least. He is going to be splitting a backfield yet again for the Washington Commanders, but don't let that fool you, as he's already proven last season that he can be fantasy relevant and fantasy startable in an offense where he only gets 51.5% of the snaps. If that repeats again, and he still has a high amount of receiving volume or receiving workload, this could still be a really good value here in round 9. In round 10, the best value to be had here would most likely be a quarterback. Now, if you didn't draft a quarterback, of course, and there are at least, around 10 quarterbacks that have been taken already, then we can identify that the best value in round 10 would be Tua Tagovailoa. But if there is a better quarterback available in your leagues or someone you feel is better than Tua Tagovailoa, make sure you prioritize getting them in the 10th round. But at least a good fallback plan here is to take Tua in the 10th round. Whether he's the first quarterback you've taken so far in your draft or even the second quarterback you've taken so far in your draft, Tua Tagovailoa has just as much of an upside to finish in the back end of QB1 as anybody else that's going before him in the draft. Obviously, with Tua, injury is always going to be a concern, but given that he's in a fantasy-friendly offense and has proven that when healthy, he is a back-end QB1, there's no reason why Tua wouldn't be a value here in round 10. In round 11, we're going to be looking for interesting rookies that have the potential and the upside to be much better than what their ADP is costing. So that would be either Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver of the Indianapolis Colts, or Blake Corum, the running back for the LA Rams. Blake Corum is more than just a fantasy football handcuff at this point in the draft. He does have potential to steal away some receiving work from Kyren Williams, and Kyren Williams doesn't really have history on his side, though I mentioned in the last video that he was a good value in round 2. The LA Rams have not had a running back repeat in leading their team in carries since Todd Gurley did in 2016-2017, which has been a really long time. If you did draft Kyren and you were worried about potentially an injury happening or anything like that, or losing his workload volume, then Blake Corum makes perfect sense here in round 11. You'll get in round 11 a guy who has a potential to steal some workload even if he's not the starter, and you'll have a premium handcuff running back in a round where it's nothing but handcuff running backs being drafted around him. And Adonai Mitchell will get a significant upgrade in target share until Josh Downs returns, but even when Josh Downs does return from his high ankle sprain, usually, at least from history that tells us this, it's probably going to take about 4 weeks for him to get back to performing at his actual rate that he was in 2023. So this is going to give Adonai Mitchell a significant boost early on, and if something were to happen to another wide receiver, now Adonai Mitchell can step in and continue his high target volume that he may or may not have. The chances of Josh Downs' high ankle sprain either limiting him or re-injuring him at some point in the season also makes Adonai Mitchell really interesting value here at this point in your drafts. And finally, in round 12, the best, no doubt about it, value that you can grab here in round 12 is Chuba Hubbard, because you're going to be, again, selecting running backs that are just a bunch of handcuffs at this point in the draft. And at least for the time being, Jonathan Brooks is not going to start the season. Maybe he comes back a little bit before week 4, but it's going to take him some time coming off of an ACL surgery to get back to maybe a full workload volume in this offense like they drafted him to be. So at least for the first 6 weeks, when the Carolina Panthers schedule is a little bit more giving for the running back position versus the last 6 weeks for the running backs in the Carolina Panthers offense, you're going to get somebody that you can absolutely start early in the season, and it costs you a 12th round pick. Chuba will see plenty of volume as there's no real backfield competition to him in this Carolina Panthers offense until Jonathan Brooks returns from his injury, which definitely makes Chuba Hubbard a value at this point in your draft, which is pretty much a late round pick, even though this video is considered the middle round values. You could potentially, with Chuba Hubbard, at least for the first 6 weeks or so, get the Shining Prince, who will inevitably turn back into a frog at some point, but take advantage of getting a high-quality starter for at least those first 6 weeks. So that's all I have for you guys today in terms of the middle round values. If you like this video and you like fantasy football content, feel free to smash the like button for me. I would really appreciate it. Helps my videos get out to more and more fantasy football viewers. And by liking the video, or even if you want to, leave a comment down below saying that you want to see the late round values in each of the last final rounds of your draft, and I'll make sure we get that done before you draft if you haven't drafted already. And if you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Feel free to subscribe down below. The fantasy football videos are not stopping anytime soon, and I sound like a broken record because I say it in every video, but it's facts. We are not stopping to make videos anytime soon. So make sure that you're subscribed. Throw those post notifications on. Do whatever you gotta do. But make sure that you're subscribed and you're sticking around for more fantasy football content. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you that sticks around and watches these videos all the way to the end. And that's why I need to make sure you guys know that I am truly grateful for this. And as always, my name is Turtle. I'm signing out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and peace.